Hello everyone, this is the HappyAnimaidCafeManager here with another walkthrough episode for the game Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Anyway, this is just the second day of the case where I'm on the first day of the court trial. February 23rd, 9:34 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there's still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to the trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Guy, you remind me a lot of Mia, but there is one decisive difference between you and her, and that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without a Faye helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there, so I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. February 23rd, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 9. The court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Scott. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edward. I haven't been in court since Edward's trial. It's been a while now. I hope that personal feelings will not be part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edward, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she wasn't rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lawn. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will not pay. She will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to call her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered a caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please? Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am Professional? What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Star was a detective? I know who you are. Cough up. Cough up, Queen. Cough up, Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Star. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutors' spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of an A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with a knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Parking lot floor plans, type map submitted as evidence during the trial. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Star. Wait, are they talking about me? Witness testimony. Witness's account. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts working. Then, through a wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Time for cross-examination. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I hadn't found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I'm a pro. As you know, my testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well. You may continue, Miss Starr. This boyfriend, he's the detective. Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend's position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunch thing. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunch boxes by your car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I said you sensed something, so you're saying you had a premonition of the murder. It felt like, how would you say? Oh yes, it was like the feeling when you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of detective instincts, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. Young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. I, of course, am hard yellow, sharp as a tap. I bet you think too. In any case, there, in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. By garish, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth? Incidentally, the knife with the victim was stabbed. With which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth, wasn't it? Indeed, it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant? I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always complain. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph? You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunch boxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. This is my first time seeing this photograph. You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photographic division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. Crime photo, type photograph submitted as evidence during the trial. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Sky. So that was the defendant. So, what was the defendant doing at that time? Tell me more about this knife the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 10 centimeters long. Is that right, Mr. Edwards? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are by nature well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean, a person? Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then, she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Tell the court, why didn't you try to stop this crime? You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. Then next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. Holding a knife in her right hand. The moment of the crime as photographed by Angel Stars. Press A for details. Anyway, the floor plan. The parking lot with Edward's car. Press A for details. Security room. The murder weapon found in Edgeworth's toolbox. Traces of the victim's blood, no prints. That must be the victim's blood, right? Either that or Edgeworth himself, or Edgeworth cut himself peeling an apple. What's Edgeworth doing with a knife like this anyway? Hey! Maybe he spent his weekends roughing it up in the wild. Edward, in the wild? I think my fruit peeling theory is more likely. Are you kidding? I always pictured him as an outdoorsman. Now there's a scary thought. There's no fingerprints on this. Then she thrust the pointed tip of the knife into Detective was holding the knife in her right hand. I can't remember which evidence to present. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow. It clearly contradicts the, I thought. You don't sound very convinced, Mr. Wright. Objection overruled. I don't think that won me any points with the judge. Now, this part of the game always confuses me. Then she thrust the pointed tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Let's see, autopsy reports. Death due to a loss of blood, one knife wound. Died within an hour and a half of 4 p.m. Name of deceased, Bruce Goodman, 36, male, date of and time of death, February 21, between 4 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Cause of death, loss of blood from chest wound. Assessment, wound was caused by 12-centimeter knife. A single stab was found. Next to a garish car. By garish, you mean? Car no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. Tell me more about the knife. The blade was about 10 centimeters long. It says it's 12. But it's really hard to tell since it from a distance. Through the wire fence, I saw. I was on my way to deliver lunchbox to my boyfriend. Incidentally, did you bring her lunch or boxes prior to our sit on the visitor now I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. You said something. Through a wire fence. So she saw it from 30 feet away. Can't remember which evidence to present at this point. Same for details. I'm not sure if this helps. Then she thrust the pointing tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. And you witnessed this? You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with a knife? As I've already said, yes. I swear on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is a photograph you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Mr. Edwards, your thoughts? Objection. Let's be a little more careful with our evidence, shall we? It is you that need to be more careful, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edwards? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. How can you tell that? Blood spatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stain on the chief prosecutor's coat? It's a black and white photograph. Yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? Or you got a better idea? Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo size from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in the photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsy. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one could make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Arg! Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she could prove this claim, the trial's over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. Yeah, there is evidence of that. You remember the knife I showed off? Well, I guess this is where it comes in. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell lunch boxes for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lawrence Guy planned this murder. And that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. Well, thanks for watching. Until next time, to be continued, baby.